On Chapter 1. What is the 5-second rule? Imagine this. You wake up. Your alarm goes off. It's 6 a.m. and your body begs you to stay in bed. You know you should get up. You've told yourself that today is the day you'll change. But 5 seconds pass, and your hand slaps the snooze button. And it's not just about getting out of bed. It's about taking back your life. Again, another goal delayed. Another opportunity missed. Now rewind that moment. And imagine if you had counted 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And just stood up. No hesitation, no debate, no self-doubt. That's the power of the 5-second rule. Tornado Mel Robbins' origin story headphone / cue a deep pause. But instead, she counted 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and she got up. Not later. Not after a pep talk. Not after motivation struck. Just action. Immediate. Powerful. That was the birth of the 5-second rule. Before she became a best-selling author and global speaker, Mel Robbins was stuck. Like, really stuck. She was unemployed. Her marriage was shaky. Her finances were a mess. And lace up your shoes. Anxiety and self-doubt dominated her every waking hour. Each night, she told herself she'd turn it around tomorrow, count down, and throw off the blanket like a rocket launch. But every morning, she hit snooze on her life. Then one evening, as she sat in her kitchen, numb from stress, a commercial came on. A rocket launching into space. Tomorrow, I'm going to launch myself out of bed like a rocket. You count backward, 5 to 1, and then you move. No overthinking. No fear-based negotiation. Just go. You just have to act. And action, when taken over and over again, builds the confidence you've been waiting for. Like NASA. No thinking, just go. Sounds silly, right? But that moment changed her life. Firecracker, the simple formula that changes everything the moment you hesitate. Your brain jumps in with doubt. What if you fail? Use the rule to take the first step toward that big goal, that hard conversation, that scary dream. It's not the right time. What will they think? But when you count down from 5, you interrupt that inner dialogue. You create a small window of metacognition, a moment where your higher brain, your prefrontal cortex, gets to drive the action. Mel turned that silly moment into a serious practice. The next morning, the alarm rang. Her old habit begged her to roll over. Whenever you feel a pull to act on a goal or instinct, brain why it works. Disrupting your mind's autopilot. Your brain is a survival machine. It loves routine, comfort, and avoiding risk. That countdown gives you a mental jolt, a pattern interrupt, forcing your brain to engage with the present task before fear can sabotage it. Direct hit real-world examples. Sparkles, you want to speak in a meeting? You feel your heart race. Count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and raise your hand. Sparkles, you know you should go for that run. But Netflix and the couch are calling? Count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sparkles, you're about to hit snooze again. It sounds simple. It is simple, but it works. Unlocked why you don't need motivation. You need momentum. Motivation is unreliable. Confidence is overrated. Courage doesn't come first. It's the result of action. Mel realized something game-changing. You don't have to feel ready. The 5-second rule becomes your launch button, not just for productivity, but for becoming the version of yourself that fear has been holding hostage. Bellhop Bell, the first habit of change. Want to change your life? Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting to feel ready. Start with a single act of courage in the next 5 seconds. No hesitation. Just count down. Then move. What if I told you that within the first 5 seconds of any decision, your entire future can be rewritten? Sounds dramatic, doesn't it? But science says otherwise. In this chapter, we're diving deep into your brain, into your wiring, into why the 5-second rule isn't just some motivational trick, but a psychological tool rooted in how your mind actually works. So let's get into it. This is the limbic system, your emotional core. It reacts fast. It's impulsive. It protects you. But it's also the part of your brain that causes hesitation, fear, and avoidance. So when you count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you're giving your brain just enough space to interrupt the emotional circuitry and activate the rational side, the side that knows you should speak up, take the chance, send the email, go to the gym, say yes, say no. And most of those choices, you don't even realize you're making them. Mode 2, the prefrontal cortex, your executive self. This is where logic lives, planning, decision-making, long-term thinking. There's a scientific principle known as the habit loop. It's simple: cue plus routine plus reward. When you count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, your brain shifts gears. You force yourself out of autopilot. You regain agency. Two brains theory. Every day, you make thousands of decisions: what to wear, what to eat, what to say, what to avoid. In neuroscience, behavioral activation is the idea that simply taking action, even without feeling ready, creates mental momentum. You don't act because you feel motivated. You feel motivated because you act. So every time you use the 5-second rule, you're training your brain to respond differently next time. This is not wishful thinking. This is brain science, simplified and weaponized. That brief pause is all it takes for your subconscious to say, "Don't do it." You might fail. You'll embarrass yourself. Stay in your comfort zone. It's the same part of your brain activated when you focus, resist impulses, and stay on track. That's because your brain operates in two modes. Mode 1, the subconscious, your autopilot. First time, voice cracking. Second time, still shaky. Fifth time, stronger. 10th time, confident. That's what the 5-second rule gives you. Not confidence, but a bridge to get there. It's the voice that says, "You'll mess it up. It's safer to stay quiet. Don't even try." The "I do what I say I'll do" muscle. The more you count down and follow through, the stronger you get, mentally, emotionally, and behaviorally. Every time you use the 5-second rule, you're doing a repetition, a mental push-up. White heavy checkmark hesitation invites fear to take over. White heavy checkmark counting down interrupts the cycle. White heavy checkmark action rewires your brain. White heavy checkmark, the more you use it, the stronger you become. And here's the kicker. It's also the part of your brain that gets activated when you use the 5-second rule. The more you train your brain to do this, the easier it becomes. The hesitation window. Now let's add a little science. But here's the twist. When you hesitate for even a few seconds, you trigger your brain's defense systems. This is called the hesitation reflex, and it's automatic. You're not lazy. You're not broken. You're just human, and your brain is trying to keep you safe, not help you grow. The 5-second rule, a pattern interrupt. So what do? You create what scientists call a metacognition interrupt. You break the pattern. And how do you do that? With 5 seconds. That moment of counting becomes your launch sequence. What science says? Let's bring in the research. Studies show that the prefrontal cortex is engaged during countdowns, decision-making, and goal pursuit. Neuroplasticity, your brain's ability to rewire, thrives on repetition. A case study in courage. Let me tell you a story. Jake was terrified of public speaking. Even in meetings, his voice would shake. One day, he committed. "Every time I feel the fear, I'll count down and speak anyway." He didn't suddenly become brave. He used a tiny mental tool to interrupt fear just long enough to act. Training your brain like a muscle. Think of your brain like a muscle. You're building the action muscle, the courage muscle. Final takeaway. Here's what you need to remember. White heavy checkmark, your brain is wired to protect you, not grow you. You don't need more information. You don't need another motivational video. You just need 5 seconds of courage. Chapter 3. 5 practical applications of the 5-second rule. So now you know. The 5-second rule isn't just a clever life hack. It is a brain-based strategy for action. But let's get practical. How do you actually use it in your daily life? How does counting down from 5, something so simple, help people beat fear, fight procrastination, and transform their behavior? Let's explore 5 powerful ways people are using the rule right now to live with more purpose, clarity, and courage. But your bed is warm, your body is tired, and your brain is whispering, "You deserve 10 more minutes." That's when you launch. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. To avoid doing what we know we should. But here's the good news. Habits aren't destiny. They're just repeated decisions. What if everything you want, the dream job, the relationship, the business, the peace, is on the other side of just 5 seconds of bravery? White heavy checkmark, speak up, lead and express yourself. White heavy checkmark, break reactive patterns and bad habits. White heavy checkmark, say yes to the things that scare you but excite your soul. Headphone / music fades into a light clarity cue. You don't need to be fearless to act. You just need to act before fear takes over. And that's what the rule gives you. A 5-second gateway into a braver life. That idea you keep thinking about? That person you want to reach out to? That trip you've dreamed of taking? You've thought about it, overanalyzed it, delayed it. But what if you just acted? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Do it. Click send. Make the call. Say yes. Life won't wait for perfect timing. And courage? It's not the absence of fear, it's action in spite of it. Wrapped gift bonus application. Emotional self-management, the 5-second rule ISN, T just for action. It S also for inward moments. Feeling angry? Anxious? Spiraling with self-doubt? Instead of reacting or withdrawing, you pause and ground yourself. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe. Reset. Respond. You become the observer, not the reactor. And that's a superpower. And if you can interrupt that decision, even once, you take back power. The next time you feel an urge to react, binge, escape, try this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Choose. Act differently. That gap gives your conscious mind a fighting chance. And that's where change begins, in tiny, repeated shifts. Feet on the floor. No thinking. No debate. No feelings involved. You not waiting for willpower. You using a decision tool to bypass resistance and move. Do this every morning for a week, and watch how much stronger your self-discipline becomes. Morning momentum equals all-day clarity. Keycap 1. Beating procrastination. Let's be honest. Procrastination isn't about laziness, it's about avoidance. You avoid what feels overwhelming. Maybe it was a meeting, maybe a social event, maybe you wanted to ask for a raise, or just say what you really felt. Then fear entered. Your brain screamed, "Don't embarrass yourself. You're not ready. What if they think you're stupid?" That's your hesitation reflex, and the 5-second rule kills it before it takes control. Studio microphone narrator, urgent. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Speak. Raise your hand. Make eye contact. Say it. Not with perfection, not without fear, but with courage. Confidence is built, action by action. Every time you use the rule to step into discomfort, your courage grows stronger. You avoid discomfort. You avoid failure before it even has a chance to happen. The 5-second rule gives you an exit ramp. The moment you catch yourself scrolling, stalling, staring at a task you've been dodging, you interrupt the loop with one simple act. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Open the document. Make the call. Write the first sentence. You don't commit to finishing. You just commit to starting. And once you start, momentum does the rest. Starting is always the hardest part. The rule helps you win that battle every single time. Keycap 2. Getting out of bed and into motion. Ever hit snooze and instantly regret it? You want to get up. Keycap 3. Conquering social fear and speaking up. Ever been in a room and wanted to speak, but didn't? Keycap 4. Taking back control of bad habits. We all have impulses. The urge to overeat, to scroll endlessly, to snap in anger. Keycap 5. Taking the leap toward new opportunities. Direct hit chapter takeaway. Use the 5-second rule too. White heavy checkmark. Get out of bed without delay. White heavy checkmark. Crush procrastination before it begins. Chapter 4. Overcoming obstacles and staying consistent with the rule. So by now, you've learned the brain science behind the 5-second rule, how to use it in everyday life, and the real power of acting before hesitation takes over. But let's be honest, knowing something isn't the same as doing it, and doing something once isn't the same as doing it consistently. So the real question becomes, what stops us from using the rule? And how do we overcome those blocks? Especially when motivation fades, fear creeps in, or we're just tired? Warning: obstacle number 1. I forgot to use it. The most common obstacle is so simple, it's frustrating. You want to use the rule. You plan to use it. And then, in the moment, you just forget. That's because the habit of hesitation is deeply wired. And when your brain is running on autopilot, it will always default to the path of least resistance. Solution: create cues, sticky notes, alarms, phone wallpapers, a bracelet, a countdown ringtone, anything that reminds your brain. Interrupt the pattern. Act now. Repetition creates rhythm. Rhythm creates habit. And habit creates change. Speech balloon obstacle number 2. It feels too simple to work. A lot of people hear about the 5-second rule and say, it can be that easy. Just counting down? That's it. Yes, that's it. But the truth is, you don't need complicated. You need clarity and consistency. Most people chase hacks, strategies, and secret systems. But success comes down to this. Did you act or didn't you? Did you show up or not? Did you make the call or stall again? Don't let complexity become your excuse. Simple things, done repeatedly, create extraordinary outcomes. Face with steam from nose obstacle number 3. I used it, but I still feel afraid. Let's clear this up right now. The 5-second rule doesn't erase fear. It helps you act in the face of fear. Fear isn't your enemy, it's your signal. It means you're about to do something uncomfortable, something unfamiliar, something that matters. Mel Robbins says it best. You'll never stop feeling scared, but you can stop letting fear make your decisions. Feel the fear, count down, and move. The more you take action despite fear, the less control fear will have over you. Downcast face with sweat obstacle number 4. I used it for a while, then slipped back. Slipping back is normal. Every habit fades without attention. Maybe you used the rule for a week, a month, even 2. But then life got busy. You missed a few mornings. You forgot to count. You started overthinking again. Don't shame yourself. Don't say, I failed. Say this instead, I paused. Now I resume. Pick one area, just one, where you'll recommit today. And use the rule again. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 restart. Compass obstacle number 5. I don't know what to act on. Sometimes, it's not fear or laziness that holds us back. It's uncertainty. You don't know what to do next. You're paralyzed by too many options. Or you're waiting for the perfect next move. Here's the truth. Clarity comes from action, not thinking. Don't wait until you know everything. Move on what you do know. Studio microphone narrator, bold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Start small. Test. Adjust. Repeat. You learn by doing. Action reveals answers. Shield the big truth. Fear fades, but courage compounds. The 5-second rule works, but you have to use it again and again. When your brain wants to freeze, you count. When the fear feels too loud, you count. When you don't feel ready, you count. Because courage isn't about how you feel. It's about what you do in the space between impulse and action. And that space is where change begins. Direct hit chapter takeaway. White heavy checkmark obstacle. I forgot to use it. Solution. Create cues and triggers. White heavy checkmark obstacle. It's too simple. Solution. Simplicity equals power. White heavy checkmark obstacle. I still feel fear. Solution. Act anyway. White heavy checkmark obstacle. I fell off. Solution. Restart with grace. White heavy checkmark obstacle. I don't know what to do. Solution. Start small. Learn forward. Consistency is not perfection. It's remembering and recommitting again and again. And now, you're ready for the next level. Chapter 4. Overcoming obstacles and staying consistent with the rule. So by now, you've learned the brain science behind the 5-second rule, how to use it in everyday life, and the real power of acting before hesitation takes over. But let's be honest, knowing something isn't the same as doing it, and doing something once isn't the same as doing it consistently. So the real question becomes, what stops us from using the rule? And how do we overcome those blocks? Especially when motivation fades, fear creeps in, or we're just tired? Warning obstacle number 1. I forgot to use it. The most common obstacle is so simple, it's frustrating. You want to use the rule. You plan to use it. And then, in the moment, you just forget. That's because the habit of hesitation is deeply wired. And when your brain is running on autopilot, it will always default to the path of least resistance. Solution? Create cues. Sticky notes. Alarms. Phone wallpapers. A bracelet. A countdown ringtone. Anything that reminds your brain. Interrupt the pattern. Act now. Repetition creates rhythm. Rhythm creates habit. And habit creates change. Speech balloon obstacle number 2. It feels too simple to work. A lot of people hear about the 5-second rule and say, it can be that easy. Just counting down? That's it. Yes, that's it. But the truth is, you don't need complicated. You need clarity and consistency. Most people chase hacks, strategies, and secret systems. But success comes down to this. Did you act or didn't you? Did you show up or not? Did you make the call or stall again? Don't let complexity become your excuse. Simple things, done repeatedly, create extraordinary outcomes. Faced with steam from nose obstacle number 3. I used it, but I still feel afraid. Let's clear this up right now. The 5-second rule doesn't erase fear. It helps you act in the face of fear. Fear isn't your enemy, it's your signal. It means you're about to do something uncomfortable, something unfamiliar, something that matters. Mel Robbins says it best. You'll never stop feeling scared, but you can stop letting fear make your decisions. Feel the fear, count down, and move. The more you take action despite fear, the less control fear will have over you. Downcast face with sweat obstacle number 4. I used it for a while, then slipped back. Slipping back is normal. Every habit fades without attention. Maybe you used the rule for a week, a month, even 2. But then life got busy. You missed a few mornings. You forgot to count. You started overthinking again. Don't shame yourself. Don't say, I failed. Say this instead, I paused. Now I resume. Pick one area, just one, where you'll recommit today. And use the rule again. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 restart. Compass obstacle number 5. I don't know what to act on. Sometimes, it's not fear or laziness that holds us back. It's uncertainty. You don't know what to do next. You're paralyzed by too many options. Or you're waiting for the perfect next move. Here's the truth. Clarity comes from action, not thinking. Don't wait until you know everything. Move on what you do know. Studio microphone narrator, bold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Start small. Test. Adjust. Repeat. You learn by doing. Action reveals answers. Shield the big truth. Fear fades, but courage compounds. The 5-second rule works, but you have to use it again and again. When your brain wants to freeze, you count. When the fear feels too loud, you count. When you don't feel ready, you count. Because courage isn't about how you feel. It's about what you do in the space between impulse and action. And that space is where change begins. Direct hit chapter takeaway. White heavy checkmark obstacle. I forgot to use it. Solution. Create cues and triggers. White heavy checkmark obstacle. It's too simple. Solution. Simplicity equals power. White heavy checkmark obstacle. I still feel fear. Solution. Act anyway. White heavy checkmark obstacle. I fell off. Solution. Restart with grace. White heavy checkmark obstacle. I don't know what to do. Solution. Start small. Learn forward. Consistency is not perfection. It's remembering and recommitting again and again. And now, you're ready for the next level. This is the 5th chapter of a wonderful book. And in this chapter, the author talks about building unshakable confidence, one decision at a time. If you've been with us so far, you know that we breaking down each chapter in this amazing book to make it easier to digest and implement the ideas. If you're new here, welcome. Start from chapter 1 and join us on our journey. Let's dive in. Headphones. So picture this. You walk into a room, your posture straight, your voice clear. You trust your instincts. You speak your mind. Confidence is a skill. And like any skill, it's built. You don't second guess. You take action, even when it's scary. That's confidence. Most people believe they need confidence first, before they can act. But Mel Robbins flips that idea upside down. She discovered that confidence comes after action, not before. It works like this. You try something new. You survive it. You gain a bit of skill. You feel more confident. You try again with more belief. Confidence grows. You keep going. She was a talented graphic designer, smart, creative, but invisible at work. She never pitched her ideas. Always second-guessed herself. She thought, I'm just not confident enough. One day she came across the 5-second rule and she committed. Every time I want to speak in a meeting, I'll count down and just do it. First time she stumbled. Second time she shared a small idea. Third time she got noticed. By month 2, she was leading projects. Sarah didn't wait to feel confident. She acted her way into confidence, one moment at a time. And contrary to what you've been told, it's not something you're born with. It's built in those tiny, quiet moments where no one's watching when you get out of bed. Instead of snoozing, it only requires that you're willing to act. White heavy checkmark. The 5-second rule helps you take action before fear wins. White heavy checkmark. Every act of courage is a vote for a stronger version of you. White heavy checkmark. The more you act, the more you believe. White heavy checkmark. And the more you believe, the more unstoppable you become. When you say no to something that doesn't serve you, when you keep your promise to yourself, even when it's hard. Every one of those moments matters. And with the 5-second rule, you can create those moments anytime you want. Brick confidence is a side effect, not a requirement. Think about it. The first time you did anything, speak in public, ride a bike, ask for a raise, try something scary, you were probably terrified. 5 seconds. That's all it takes. So next time your heart pounds, next time your hands shake, next time the doubt screams louder than your dream, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, move. That's how confidence is built. That's how your new life begins. But once you did it, you walked away feeling stronger. You had proof. Don't forget to stay tuned for more insightful breakdowns from our favorite books. And if you have already subscribed, we thank you for being part of our community. Until next time, happy reading, everyone. I can do this. And that, my friend, is confidence. Every time you use the 5-second rule, you're not just taking action. You're casting a vote for the kind of person you want to be. When you speak up, you say, I am brave. When you follow through, you say, I am disciplined. When you show up, you say, I am someone who takes action. And over time, your identity begins to shift from hesitant to confident, from reactive to intentional. Not arrogance, not perfection, just earn self-trust from small moments of courage. Collision the confidence-competence loop. There's a concept called the confidence-competence loop. But here's the kicker. None of it happens if you never start. And that's where the 5-second rule becomes your ignition switch. High voltage 5 seconds to shift your identity. Bust in silhouette real story. From self-doubt to self-belief. Let me tell you about Sarah. Rocket confidence is built in private first. Confidence isn't built on a stage. Because confidence doesn't require that you feel ready. So here's the takeaway from this chapter. White heavy checkmark confidence is built through action, not waiting. You don't have to feel confident to act, but every time you act, you'll feel more confident. Thank you for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Chapter 6. How the rule builds habits and reshapes identity. By now, you've seen how the 5-second rule helps you overcome fear, take action, and build confidence. But there's another layer, maybe the most powerful one of all. When you use the rule consistently, it doesn't just change your decisions. It begins to reshape your identity. Here's how. But there's a deeper impact that many people don't realize. The rule builds habits and reshapes your identity. In the book, we've been exploring how the 5-second rule can transform your life by helping you take action despite fear. Your habits don't just shape your day, they shape who you are. Let me explain. It's not just something you do repeatedly. It's something that over time becomes part of who you believe you are. It craves patterns, and it doesn't care if the pattern helps you or hurts you. That's why procrastination is easy. That's why self-doubt feels familiar. That's why hesitation happens without you even noticing. Over time, that will turn into "this is who I am." So if you run every morning, you become a runner. That's why habits matter so much. You're not just changing what you do. 5 seconds of courage, 5 seconds of movement, 5 seconds of integrity. It gives you a simple, repeatable way to take action every day, no matter how small. Not once, not twice daily. Let the rule become your default, not your emergency button. That's how your new identity takes root. I want to be courageous, to I am courageous. But that shift only sticks when your actions match your identity. And what makes those actions happen? 5 seconds. You're changing what your brain expects you to do. You get to build yourself, one 5-second action at a time. Identity isn't discovered. It's decided. Every time you take action using the 5-second rule, you strengthen a new neural path. And soon what once felt hard becomes automatic. If you speak up in meetings, you become a leader. You just need to act again and again until your brain starts to believe, this is who I am now. If you take action instead of stalling, you become decisive. That's identity being written, one decision at a time. Omar used to be a chronic overthinker. He had dreams, but they lived in journals. He'd hesitate, talk himself out of everything. But then he committed to one small rule. Anytime I hesitate, I'll count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and go. At first, it felt silly, but he kept using it. Every time you act using the 5-second rule, you reinforce a new version of you. Neuroplasticity makes it possible. Consistency is more powerful than intensity. And transformation begins with one decision repeated. After 30 days, he sent those emails he'd been avoiding. He scheduled health checkups, pitched a project, went on a first date. But more than that, He stopped calling himself shy. He stopped believing he was a procrastinator. His habits changed because his identity changed. First, let's talk about what a habit really is. For example, if you consistently take action, even small actions, your brain will say, "This is what I do." Now, here's where things get interesting. Your brain loves loops. Cue, routine, reward. But when you use the 5-second rule, you break the loop. And every time you break the loop, you create a new one. A new loop where the cue is hesitation, but the routine becomes action. And the reward is self-respect, progress, pride. Let me share an example. Imagine someone named Omar. Neuroscience has a term for this: neuroplasticity. It means your brain is always rewiring itself based on what you repeat. Here's the secret most people miss. You don't need massive change. You just need consistent change. Transformation isn't a one-time event. It's a series of small, repeated actions. The 5-second rule provides that structure. Now listen closely. The fastest way to change your life is to shift from saying, "I want to be disciplined," to "I am disciplined." You don't need a new personality. You don't need to wait for permission. You don't need to change everything overnight. So here's your takeaway. Habits don't just shape your day, they shape your identity. You don't need to find yourself. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Let's pause for a moment. You've come a long way, not just through a book, but through a transformation. You've learned how hesitation steals your dreams. You've seen how fear can paralyze even the strongest minds. And you've discovered a tool, simple, powerful, that can interrupt old patterns and spark new ones. So what is that tool? 5 seconds. 5 seconds may not sound like much, but it's everything. It's the gap between thinking and doing, between staying the same and changing forever. Every dream you've shelved, every chance you've missed, every moment you've wished you had the courage, it lives inside that tiny window. How many times have you said, "I should have, next time I'll, one day"? The problem isn't your desire. The problem isn't your dream. The problem is delay. And the best part is you already have the key. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Look back. If this inspired you, share it. Re-listen when you forget who you are. And remember, your next breakthrough is only 5 seconds away. You act when the opportunity shows up, not hours later. Day by day, moment by moment, you're no longer the person waiting. You're the person doing. That's not just self-improvement. That's a rebirth. But the good news is you don't need a perfect plan. You don't need to wait. You don't even need to feel ready. You just need 5 seconds of courage. Over and over again. Use it to wake up with purpose, push past fear, build real confidence, lead with integrity, make bold moves, love more, hesitate less. A tool, a habit, a mindset. And finally become the version of you that you were always meant to be. Rewrite your future, one moment at a time. Now imagine this. You stop talking yourself out of things. You get up when you said you would. You speak when your heart tells you to. Every act of courage, no matter how small, begins with a decision. And that decision begins with you. You are one decision away from a completely different life. It's a part of you. And never look back. You now have the power to change your mood, change your day, change your habits, change your mind, change your life. All in 5 seconds. The 5-second rule is no longer just a book. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now go. Live your life. This has been the 5-second rule by Mel Robbins, narrated and adapted for you.